If you're running meta ads, then this video will be relevant to you. I just wanted to film kind of off the cuff here and talk about how last week I added 107 new leads to my list. And I'll talk about how much profit I generated on the front end from that here in just a minute. But I want to kind of talk through the background and numbers of how I got there, specifically because the month of July did not look as pretty as this last week. If we fast forward, if we back up and give some context into June and July, so at the time of recording, it's August 12th. In June, I did not launch or film any new ads. I was busy building and preparing for a new product launch, the 30-day ugly ad challenge. I spent a bunch of time on that, and so I neglected and did not spend time filming ads. And as a result, we can watch how my ad performance, spending at about $1,000 per day, slowly declined as I stopped feeding Meta new ad creatives. With a lot of the new updates in Meta, you really need a lot of creative diversity and creative variety. And so you need a simple setup, which is what I call the 2-campaign setup, which I learned this from Hernan Vasquez, if I pronounce that right, which is essentially you want a testing campaign and a scaling campaign. Your testing campaign is meant to test and find creative winners. Your scaling campaign takes those and scales them up. And so with a simple setup like this, you can essentially test, find winning ads, scale them up with ease. And so with this setup, I wasn't feeding Meta any new creatives to test and find new winners. And so I'll show you here as we, on my whiteboard, I've got all the numbers laid out essentially. So let's look at August. I'll do my best to show the camera on the whiteboard screen since I'm just doing this spur of the moment here. So in July, these are the dates. These are Monday through Sunday. Each week is Monday through Sunday. That's how I do my tracking. 29th through the 5th, 243 new leads. I spent $6,262. Profit was $772. Not bad on the front end. It's profitable. That's what I want. On my front end offers, I want to be just a little bit positive on my ROAS because I hate losing money. I'm competitive. And so I don't want to go in the negative. I'm okay with like a 0.9 ROAS as long as, again, on the back end, I'm going to be profitable. But on the front end, I'd love to, for sure, more than break even, just in my competitive nature. So that's the first week. The second week, 6th through the 12th of July, 180 new leads, $5,592 spent, negative $583 on the front end. Not great. Next week, it doesn't look any better. Decline in leads again, spent a little bit less as my campaigns fluctuate as I decrease spend, increase spend based on a testing and scaling campaign. And this was horrible. The profit was negative $1,950. Next week was not great either, negative $1,094, and ended the month at the last week just $20 in profit. I'm gonna be rich. So we can see, like, if we look at the progression of the month, we can just see how month or week by week, it's just like a decline in the number of leads I'm getting as the ads start decreasing in performance. Again, I didn't launch any new ads in June. And on July 1st, I kind of panicked a little bit and I launched a bunch of image ads. Now, I love image ads, but generally image ads have a shorter shelf life, meaning they don't last as long. Because when somebody sees an image, you kind of see the image. Yes, an image paints 1,000 words. But once you see it and you kind of decide if it's for you or not for you, you keep scrolling. And so when you see that image again, it doesn't have any additional value. Whereas with a video, you could watch a video 3, 4, 5, 10 times and get something new from it each time. Meaning the first time you might only watch 10 seconds, scroll, you get served that ad again. Oh, it's interesting again. So you might watch a little bit more of it. And you might connect with different parts of it. So there's that aspect. There's also the aspect of with video, you can connect more with an individual. You connect on a human level. If you haven't noticed now, with how much AI there is out there, more and more people are turning to just simple, authentic content to connect with people, to resonate with them and build trust. So that way, once that trust is formed, you're more likely to essentially buy a service or product with a specific individual. And so as we watch over the month of July, the ads decrease. So, in getting back to the story, ramble a little bit. Beginning of July, I launched a bunch of image ads because they're super easy to create, and I did that twice in the month of July. I launched a dozen or so, and they did not save my ad account, as you can clearly see. I spend about 80% of my time on video ads because that's what works best. And so, well, again, we can see that here. Just terrible return on, again, front end profit here. But what I did is on August, got it right here, August 4th. So one day into last week, I launched 5 new video ads. So I went out and I filmed 5 new video ads on my phone, sitting in my car. I finally had time after the product launch and all that to film some new ads. And I will actually, sorry, my phone's going off. I will actually pull up the actual ad here to show you how horrible they look. And if you're new to my world, I'm all about ugly ads and how we just need simple, authentic, ugly video ads and they'll crush it. And so I'm pulling it up here. Should have had it already up, but again, off the cuff here. So I, again, filmed 5 new video ads, and the top performing ad was an ad that while I was filming, I was sitting in my car, I looked over and I had a tie sitting in my front seat. I went to a wedding like the week before, and randomly I just took the tie and I put it over my head. Obviously you wear a tie on your neck, but I just put it over like a bandana and it's hanging off the side. I don't know why, I just did it. And you can see here, here's the ad. It looks horrible. The headband, and anyways, me talking, I've got wired AirPods in, not fancy, not anything crazy. And I was just like, what the heck, why not? Because ugly ads work best and they resonate. And right now it's what's building the most trust with people. So anyways, I launched 5 ads. One of them included that weird headband ad. And over the last week, let me grab my marker and I will show you how much profit came from on the front end from last week. And I've got it pulled up here. Let me juggle if I have an extra hand. So profit from last week was, you're gonna look at it here in just a second. Again, remembering that all of last month, I was like a negative 2,000 something in the hole there. Still generated a bunch of leads, still added a lot of people to my list, and was positive on the back end. That's all great. On the front end, when we look at this, profit for last week alone was $1,240. It's awesome. That's big. So we look at the progression of July, just does not look good at all. And then we get to August, and I recouped almost, I'm not good at math on camera, on the spot, almost half of what was lost from that initial month, although that's not how you look at it. But last week, again, profit was $1,240 because I launched 5 new video ads. Meta had the ability and additional creative to test new audiences, to launch it to people who have already seen other ads of mine. And it did so much better. And so the moral of this story, this video, is twofold. One is to continually be testing new ads. Okay? With Meta's new algorithm that was launched a year ago, 2025, August, the Andromeda, it needs creative diversity, creative variety. And so we need to be testing and launching ads regularly, typically every Monday, unless, like me, you get busy, and do my best. The second is your ads don't need to be amazing. I won't show it again, but the ugly ad of me filming in the car with a tie on my head, I don't know why, just did it. And it seems to crush it for whatever reason. And so again, test ads regularly, and they don't need to be good. They don't need to be polished per se. They don't need to have like B-roll and hyper editing and a fancy microphone and all that. You literally just need to call out who you're talking to, talk about the problem that they're experiencing so that they can build that trust and feel that you actually they can feel that you actually know what their problems are and that you can actually help them. Mouthful there. And so what you do is you're able to clearly articulate, here's the problem that they solve. I'm going to do it backwards so you can see it. Here's the problem that they solve. Here's the outcome that you can get for them and how you bridge that gap. And being able to very clearly articulate the problem that they have and articulate how you're going to get that outcome and bridge that gap is really all they need to understand. And so if you're running ads of any kind, whether it's a call funnel, a VSL funnel, application, low ticket offer, webinar, it does not matter. If you're running ads, you need to be constantly testing new ads regularly. So if that was helpful, subscribe or whatever they say. And second, I'll be building out a separate video training on that 2-campaign method. But moral of the story is it's really interesting how ad performance is terrible until the moment that we launch a new campaign with new creative. It's like giving bread to a lifeless, dying animal of some sort. I don't know, some analogy where we can see performance is horrible. And the moment that we launch new campaigns and new creatives and give Meta the room and space to work with the budget that it needs to, it flourishes and does good. So again, now I will continue to weekly test campaigns and put 80% of my time into building video ads that, again, are raw and authentic, very much like this video. Filming in my car, walking down the street, park, it does not matter. I've got other videos talking about this, but essentially I ran a big long test where I went out and hired actors to film proven ad scripts. I spent a lot of money on it. And what we found is that the dumb iPhone ads filmed by my clients with the ums, the ahs, the messing up and the unpolished videos like performed 30 to 100% better than the polished ads, meaning the polished ads perform 30 to 100% with a higher cost per action there. So anyways, hope this video was helpful in walking through the weird headband ad and specifically how launching regular creative can help really boost your ad account. So if you've got just a couple of ads and you're riding on 1 or 2 ads and have been for a long time, it might be time to start testing some new creative and actually give Meta the room to work with more creative, because you'll find that it'll decrease your CPA there. So anyways, we'll see you in the next